Dear Melissa, what advice do you have for making moves to the next PM role after getting your foot in the door? I worked my way towards attaining the software PM title, but in a non tech company that doesn't understand the value of the role. A lot of leadership has McKinsey or big consulting on their resume. They are amazing at BSing and deflecting, but very action adverse unless it's cost cutting. The climate is so political that any effort to create positive change generally leads to retaliation until the proposal is either railroaded or hijacked by a senior leader. My role is too narrow and there's no transparency or visibility on the product portfolio. I see my SVP of product winning awards and speaking at conferences on LinkedIn more than I see her communicating internal messages and leading on the inside. I know I need to leave this organization, but also feel like I need to clock time with the title. I hate this situation, but feel like I'm stuck in a catch 22. Is it asking for too much that I want to be a part of a team where I work with talented engineers, designers, and leaders that want to build great products and win together? How or when do I move on from here? Help. All right. Well, this sounds like a frustrating situation. And I have to say that I've been in less than ideal situations as well. But let's talk about what you can learn from it. A lot of organizations that I've worked in or with have not been doing ideal product management. I've gotten frustrated before. When I was very early on in my career, I thought I knew better than everybody and wanted to go out there and just do great product management. And what I learned day after day of trying to push through this is that every company has its own BS going on. You're never going to walk into a place that's actually picture perfect. Sure, there are companies that are doing product management way better than what you're describing. And then there's ones that are doing it even worse. But you're never going to have just a super clear path in many places. You're going to have to deal with people, you're going to have to deal with situations that are less than ideal. So, what I learned along the way is to reframe how we think about the situations that we're in that are less than ideal. What if I don't know everything that's going on here? What if the leaders have some kind of agenda that I don't really understand? Now, maybe their agenda is not aligned to great product management. Okay. But once I first to start to understand what that agenda is or what they're being judged for success on, then I can start to justify what those actions are. And then I can see if product management is going to work here or not. This also helps explain rationale and decision making. So you might be sitting there going, wow, these leaders are crazy and they're doing this and they're doing that. Maybe there are things that you don't quite understand at work here. Can you figure them out? Can you ask questions about it? Can you see why people are motivated to work the way they are? How are they being judged for success? A lot of understanding those decisions is about understanding how people operate. And when you understand how people operate, especially in these types of conditions, you can understand how to work with them. So when I was in situations like you described, I approached it like, hey, let me see if there are ways I can test different strategies to get people on my side. Or instead of get people on my side, convince them that this is a better way of working. Maybe I can push forward just a little bit. The problem is early on in your career, of course, you're going to want to build great products. That's a really important thing that you really should nail when you're an early product manager. You want to build and deliver great products. If you haven't had the product title on your resume for a while, it might be hard for you to transition into another job. So I want you to think about what you can do and what you can control in that situation and what you do have autonomy over. And I want you to treat the way that you operate at this company the same way that you would test a product, right? What if I try this to get my senior leader on board? What if I ask one question? What do we think we will achieve by doing X, Y, and Z? What if I start that conversation? Can I get a little bit further? How should I frame it? Who should I bring into this conversation? How should I work with this difficult person? How should I do this? All of those are leadership lessons that will become invaluable to you along the way. I've also worked with my share of top company leaders who have been from the big consultancies and their political powerhouses. I sucked at politics when I was younger. And it was by working with those people and trying to figure out how to get them on my side, how to get them to listen to me, a lot of trial and error that allowed me to figure out how to play politics. That maybe wasn't the most useful thing when I was a junior PM, but now it's extremely invaluable later on in my career. You may not get all those opportunities later on. Can you start to leverage those now? Because those are the type of skills, leadership skills, people skills that might help propel you in the future. So while I understand that the situation is really bad and it sounds pretty bad, what can you do to learn from it? What can you take away that will make you a stronger leader, a stronger person, a stronger career later on? That's how I would treat it while you're there. I think it's really important to understand people's motivations, to understand how to work with different types of people. I guarantee you this is not the last time that you walk into an organization and there's a senior leader that's from a big consultancy. I work with them every single day, and some of them are super, super smart. Some of them don't know how to run product teams, and that's okay because some of them are humble enough to understand that and they bring in the right people. If you want to be the right person, that person brings in one day to run their product team, you better understand how to work with them because they may hire you in the long run. So, what can you do to get more up to speed on how to work with people like this, to work with people in those backgrounds, to rally people to a cause, to start to make a dent, to start to make a show of success in this way of working in your current environment? And then when I say that you have enough on your resume, let's say like a year or two, and you want to get out, which I do not blame you for, then you can look at going to another company. But you have already amassed these skills that a lot of people just don't take credit for. These skills where it comes to interpersonal dynamics and politics and all of this stuff. Product management is full of politics. You're never going to get away from that. That's just the job. Like, I wish we could all sit back and just say, hey, I'm going to build amazing things for our customers, but you need to get that done internally. And that's what separates a great product manager from just an okay one, right? It's somebody who's going to push to really deliver the value from the customers. And in order to do that, you got to play politics. You got to figure out how to win over stakeholders and get people on your side. So can you treat this as your learning opportunity? I'll also say I attribute like 50% of my success to seeing what not to do in organizations so I don't repeat those mistakes one day. And also so that I can identify what the causes are and figure out how to fix them. So by learning what not to do and observing what not to do, you're also learning here, right? You're also growing. So of course we want to get you into a place where you could do great product management, but don't be remiss to think that there aren't things that you can learn here along the way that may pay off in the long run. And hey, maybe in like 10 years, 15 years or so, you are leading a product team at an organization like you describe, and you're turning it around. You're overseeing 5,000 product managers. You're in a big software enabled company. You institute the process, but you know how to play politics with the rest of them, right? You know how to work with the rest of that leadership team because you observed, you studied, and you tried. And that's the only way you're going to learn those skills. So I do feel for you that you're not feeling like you're able to practice your craft. And that hurts and that sucks. And I don't want to dismiss that. You should want to go to a place where you can actually get things out the door and show you're doing great product management. But while you have to be at this company, think about what you can learn there. Think about all the other stuff that goes into product management and what you can take away. So I hope that helps. And I wish you the best of luck. All right. That's it for Dear Melissa today. But again, if you have any product management questions for me, go to dearmelissa.com and let me know what they are.